Hi, and welcome to this mini podcast. My name's Helen Crampin. I'm the Innovation Lead for the Healthy Aging Challenge, currently running the investment partnerships. And I'm really pleased to say I'm having a conversation today with Anthony, who is from Golf in Society. And Anthony, actually, I'll just get you to tell us a bit more about yourself and Golf in Society and why it's so important and how people benefit.
Hi, thanks for having me on, Helen. My name is Anthony Blackburn, and my social enterprise, which I started 5 years ago, is called Golf in Society. And we're very passionate about improving the lives of our aging population by introducing them to the health and well-being benefits of golf. Golf is very important to me. It was very important to my father, who passed away 12 years ago. And Dad very much was my inspiration behind the project. Towards the end of his illness, he just needed a little support to keep playing golf and other sports that he enjoyed. And I gave him that support, and it was a wonderful way to spend our sort of last moments together as father and son. And really, that sparked me to realize there's loads of other people out there who've had a sporting background that must be really interested in keeping that sport going right the way through to the end of their life. And all they need is a little bit of support. And from that, Golf in Society was born.
Brilliant. And you've answered my second question, actually, so I'll go straight on to the third. So what would you say, as a social entrepreneur, have been your greatest challenges?
I think it's being a very small fish in a very, very big pond, being new, lacking credibility, lacking the track record, and breaking through into circles that do take you seriously, that do realize that what you're doing makes a difference and are prepared to invest in you and the potential future of your intervention and the way that you're transforming lives. And it's hard to begin with. Eventually you have a few successes, and those successes lead you to be a little bit more confident in your social mission and your vision, really. And I think for me, one of the things that is always a struggle is investment, because people want to very much look at your financial track record. They want to look at your partners. And at the early stage, when you're just testing your concept, it's basically you as a one-man band, and you're doing everything yourself. And some of the questions you get asked, you don't always have the answers to. You probably maybe don't have some of the systems and procedures in place, the governance in place. But it's about, I think, early doors, people really taking you as an individual and your desire to make a difference within society, and believing in that and being able to support you in those formative days, weeks, months and years, really, to get you to potential, to the stage where potentially you're investable.
Yeah. And you just mentioned some successes. So I wonder if you could just talk a little bit more about those.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest success was contacting Unlimited. Unlimited have held my hand since I first started 5 years ago. They had when I was looking for that just bit of seed capital just to give my idea a go, I reached out to them, and they had what they call a Do It Award. And it was only £5,000, but it allowed me to find a golf club, start recruiting potential service users, test it, evaluate it, and come up with some evidence. And that £5,000 that they gave me, to be honest, I wouldn't be here today, Helen, if it hadn't been for that initial leap of faith and giving me the £5,000, because we proved the concept. And 600 sessions later, 3 golf venues, the first ever dementia-friendly golf club in the world, the first ever Parkinson's-friendly golf club in the world, the first ever dementia-friendly golf club in Scotland, wouldn't have been achieved without that initial £5,000 worth of faith capital, really, that Unlimited were prepared to invest in me.
Yeah, and actually it's sometimes those very, very small amounts of money that make such a huge difference, isn't it?
Yeah, it gave me the freedom to be able to travel, to be able to dedicate a couple of days to go and sort of deliver these golf sessions, do the evaluation, everything else. And without that, I wouldn't have been able to free up time, because at that stage, I was actually retraining. I'm a retailer by trade, and I'd lost my retail business. This is almost like the second half of my life, really, after having the sort of my dream business sort of unfortunately go into administration, but then I sort of retrained as a caregiver. And that's when I was working on my project, my social mission, with my dad's inspiration behind me, putting all that together. And I just wanted a couple of days to be able to go out and actually deliver it and see whether it worked. And that gave me the freedom to do so.
And it's working.
Yeah.
And why do you think social enterprises like yours are the way to address the many issues around ageing in today's society?
The reason I passionately believe this is that we, I believe, are the only people who can really get to the coalface in a person-centered way, listen to the people that are needing support and needing new solutions, and actually design services with them, so they're co-designed, to actually transform their lives. And we are so innovative at the coalface because we listen and we learn from the customers that we're working with, and we design the solutions with them at the heart of it. And I think because we are so agile, because we are so innovative, and because we're so passionate about social change, that's why I think we're the future in terms of health and social care solutions.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. So what would you like the future for golf in society to look like? So if you look, say 5 years ahead, where do you want to be, or where do you see yourself being?
Ideally for me, what I'd like to see is a network of golf venues across the UK and across the major golf playing countries in the world, where people facing challenges later in life can still enjoy sport, can still enjoy that golf. And people and venues where those individuals can come to and feel as though they can still have a full and active life. So at the moment, we've got quite ambitious plans for next year to open up 6 new venues in the UK, but already we're in talks with the US, and we're in talks with South Africa and some other countries in Europe, and potentially some countries also in South Asia where potentially our service could be adopted. So we've got big plans purely because it's been designed with people at the heart of it. So we know exactly how to engage people in sport, engage people in that meaningful thing, that giving them that sense of purpose, but building that package around them. And that isn't something just for the UK, that is something that has global potential and global reach, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, from the point of view of a social enterprise, you've mentioned Unlimited, but where else do social enterprises go for support and resources?
For me, I think accelerator programs like Sheffield Hallam University is a great place for startups to go to who've got an idea, who need proof of concept, who are just in the early stages of developing their intervention to improve our lives. So I think, if you like, accelerator programs like that, I think are a really important place to go as well. And there are other social investment companies out there, but the one I keep coming back to, but Unlimited, have just been the most amazing. But I think that having programs like AWRC are important purely because they give you access to the mentor program as well. Because as a startup organization, you're doing everything yourself, and sometimes you just need that industry expert, that person just to sit on your shoulder for an hour or two and just say, what about this, what about that, have you talked to this person, have you talked to that person? And to be honest, that mentoring is absolutely valuable, especially in the formative months. And programs like the Hallam University one have been brilliant.
Yeah, and I think that, from the point of view of networking and, growing this ecosystem, it is incredibly important to bring all these different sectors together, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we have talked about profit with purpose. So, can you just sort of describe your business model to us a little bit more?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's evolved. When I first started, I thought that we'd be an easy shoe-in for social prescribing. And I thought we'd get commissioning groups just wanting to adopt our service. And obviously a lot of funding hopefully would come through that, but that didn't happen. And really what we've done initially is go down the private payment model. So basically, we're an alternative to the traditional respite services and intervention services for people who need support. And really, we've gone down that route, and we're extremely good value for money in terms of the, if you like, the tariff card that we've got. But people pay it because they realise it's excellent value for money. And at the end of the day, our service for a private paying client is giving the carer the respite, but it's also giving the person with a diagnosis some meaningful, enjoyable activity to do. And they're both benefiting simultaneously. And that is something that they're prepared to pay for. Because often services are designed and organised for carers at different times to those that are organised for their partners. So they've got to actually find a way to go to their service and then find someone to look after their partner while they're there. Yeah. But what we do is we brought it both together, and we basically, it's one service, two main beneficiaries. And I think that's why it's been so successful. That's why people are prepared to pay. And the private payments mean that we are sustainable. We make a profit out of every golf session that we run through private payments. We don't rely on grant funding. The grant funding is nice to get, but at the end of the day, it's not what our sustainable business model is about. And that's in many respects quite liberating to know that your service is valued. People are prepared to pay for it. And also the fact that even if you don't get the clinical commissioning groups on board and getting you onto the social prescribing schemes, you've still got a viable business. And the other stuff is great and, you know, future growth, but you've got a great business just with the private paying clients.
Yeah, you're dead right. So, I mean, you know, I could sit here and ask you hundreds more questions. It's really, really interesting conversation, and you know, your passion, it shines through, and that's one of the reasons that I'm sat here talking to you, because you're just such an inspiration. So I just wondered if there was something you'd like to add for the benefit of the audience. Is there anything, a bit of advice to other social entrepreneurs, or a nugget of valuable insight maybe?
I'd like to add one thing for potential investors, and I'd like to say, please look at the person behind the social enterprise. Please look at their passion. Please look at the innovation within their intervention. And then just think about how that can have global reach, because at the end of the day, that's what social entrepreneurs are offering here. That person with that desire has got a solution that can transform people's lives across the globe, not just in that one little town, in that one part of a particular country. It's got global potential. And really, I'd like to say to investors, think about how you can put the support around that person and that idea. Because if you put the right support around it and believe in it and fully support them, then they will create some wonderful, wonderful social transformations. But it'll be social entrepreneurs that do that because they have the desire, the determination, and the innovative solutions to some of the biggest crises facing our global population. Yeah. And for social entrepreneurs, I would say keep the faith. There's a lot of hard knocks out there, but if you really believe in what you do and you remain passionate about it, then don't give up. It's easy to give up and go back to the day job, but there's communities out there that need you. They need your intervention. And eventually, if you keep doing the right things often enough for the right reasons, amazing things will happen. It will be hard, but when you're thinking about giving up, don't give up. Pick up a phone, speak to someone, speak to me. And
yeah, I was going to say, speak to Anthony.
You know, the social entrepreneurs themselves, they are such giving people. They'll have that conversation with you and they'll hopefully give you that bit of friendly advice or point you in the right direction, but please don't give up. And finally, never let go of your dream.
I think that's a really brilliant comment to end on, Anthony, and thank you once again for giving up your time today. Thank you.